Hey guys, in this video I'm going to take you through my Lightroom workflow for processing this natural light portrait from Halloween. Let's get started. So here's the before image, which is your typical raw photo that had auto white balance turned on when the photo was taken. It's pretty flat looking and the colors are a little bit off, so I'm going to show you how we can fix that. So we're going to take something ordinary like this and turn it into something a lot more vibrant and interesting like this. So the first thing that I want to do is adjust the white balance, and right now this image is a little bit blue. So first I'm going to take the temperature up and drag that slider to the right till I get to about 6100 or so. That will help warm up the entire image and bring some life into it. Next I'm going to come down to the clarity slider and start dragging that to the right to add some contrast and depth to my image. So I'm going to take that to about 65 and leave it there. Now, some of the white parts of this image are blown out, like the top of these Elmo eyes and maybe the socks and some of the sky in the background. So I'm going to come over to my highlight slider and drag that down just a bit to bring those areas down. -35 or so looks pretty good. I also want to bring some details back in from the shadows, so I'm going to drag the shadow slider to the right to about 35 to bring back some detail. Now, I've flattened my image a little bit by bringing the highlights down and the shadows up, so I want to add that contrast back into the image. To do that, I'm going to use the whites and black sliders. So I'm going to drag the whites up just a bit, maybe to about 25 or so, and then drag the blacks down to about -35. That will add some more contrast and depth to our image, which makes it a little more interesting. One other thing that I see about this is that the Elmo costume looks a little bit purple. So I'm going to go into the Hue, Saturation, and Luminance panel and click on the Hue tab, and I'm going to drag my red slider to the right just a little bit to make the red more orange and less purple. So about 7 is good, it's just a slight tweak. It's also super saturated, so I'm going to go into the Saturation tab and drag the red down just a little bit, maybe -7 or so. Next I'm going to go into the Lens Correction panel, and I'm going to enable the Profile Corrections. When I check that, Lightroom automatically detects the camera and the lens that I used and corrects for distortion and vignetting around the edges. I'm also going to check Remove Chromatic Aberration, and that will remove any colored fringing on the highlights of my image. Next I'll go into the Effects panel, and by dragging the Amount slider down, I'm going to add a vignette to my image. So I'm going to drag that down to about -30. And I don't want my vignette reaching quite so far into the image, so I'm going to change the midpoint and drag that up a bit, maybe to about 60. If I zoom in on the face and come over here and choose my spot removal tool, I can click on this little spot and it will automatically sample from another skin area to remove that spot. Next I'm going to choose my adjustment brush tool, and I'm going to use this to brighten up the eyes. So for the settings I want everything reset to 0. And then I'll set the exposure to about 0.66 and the saturation to about 25. Then I'll start painting on just the irises of the eyes, and it'll brighten them up and add some color into them. And that's pretty much it. I use this same process on a lot of my images, and it's a really quick and easy way to add a lot of life to an otherwise boring photo. So again, here's the before and the after. I'm John Shaver for Photoshop Video Academy. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.